After the World Cup this summer and women's football being included in EAFC, lots and lots of people are finally getting their first introduction to the Women's Super League, and that means more eyes on the match itself. And some of us haven't watched any of it before, including me. So, this is a quick beginner's guide into the Women's Super League, the clubs in it, who you can support, and how exactly you watch it. I'm going to start out with the various clubs that you might want to support. Now, if you're a normal football fan, you very probably have a side that you want to pick. It'll be the team that you support already, unless they don't have a women's team yet. Leeds United, for example, have one in something like the third, fourth, or fifth tier of it, and it's impossible to watch them on television. So I'm just going to run through some of the clubs you might want to support, and they include Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, and Manchester City. And I'm going to start out with Chelsea. Chelsea are one of the most dominant forces in the Women's Super League, having won the last four in a row. They came in the Champions League last season, I think, into the semi-finals or the final. I'm just going to very quickly double check that. Yes, they went into the UCL semi-final last season, just about being squeaked out of it. And they've got players such as Sam Kerr, who is regarded as one of the best in the world, very nearly put England out of the World Cup. They're a good choice if you want to watch a team that wins quite a lot of football matches. In addition to that, you have Arsenal, who used to be one of the biggest sets of names in the game. However, they've not won for several years, and in the UCL, they were knocked out in the qualifying stages. That's not really good enough for the side, and they want to do a little bit better this season, and you sort of hope that they can. They're one of the teams that will most likely compete with Chelsea up at the top of the table this season, especially since they have some big new signings on their side, including Alessia Russo, who was a star for England and still is. In addition to that, we have Manchester United, who put up a massive challenge to Chelsea during the last season, but collapsed towards the end of the season and ended up not really doing too much. Their collapse was quite funny, I'll be honest. That might just be from a Leeds fan point of view. And there's also players that want to leave at the moment. They include one of the names that you will have massively heard of from the World Cup. That is Mary Earps, who is England's goalkeeper. Probably the biggest name in England women's football, and she sort of wants to leave Manchester United at the moment. We'll see how that goes. Alessia Russo, who signed for Arsenal, as I just mentioned, left Manchester United as well, which means that Man United might be in a very difficult position this season. We'll see. If you want to support them, I would advise against it, but do you? Manchester City are another side that is consistently up there. They've got a lot of funding from Manchester City men's teams owners, and that trickles down a little bit. And they came close to winning the title during COVID before the season was stopped short, which meant that they couldn't win the championship. But they've been consistently third or fourth place. If you want to support a team that's going to win a lot of football matches but still be a little bit of an underdog, Manchester City might be the way forward for you. They are also led by a very, very strong forward in Bunny Shaw, which is a fantastic name. So if you're supporting a team based on the names of their players, go for it. Who else can you pick? It's sort of typical Premier League football club names, including Aston Villa. They're reportedly aiming for Europe this season. They've got a very, very good coach on their side and will look to put in excellent performances from the start just to break into that top tier of clubs. Brighton as well have made big moves this summer and really want to grow, the same as the men's team, presumably using some of the methodology that their squad is using to bring in some of the better players in world football and make a massive impact. You can make a bigger impact on a lower budget in women's football, so Brighton could be the perfect pick. In addition to that, you've also got Liverpool, but we're talking smaller clubs here. So how exactly do you watch the Women's Super League? Now, there's a couple of ways of doing it. The first is via the BBC. The Women's Super League is quite a lot of the time completely free to watch if you're in the UK and Ireland, aside from the license fee, but that's its whole other thing, which means that you should be able to watch the Super League with relative ease. However, if you want to go beyond the Super League and you support a club that's in this competition, it is a little bit harder to watch the Champions League. Those matches, the rights are owned by DAZN. I'm not going to have a bad word to say about DAZN because they currently employ me outside of this YouTube channel. But that is behind a paywall. You will have to pay if you want to watch your club in the Champions League. Thankfully, not an issue for Arsenal fans. So when can you get started? It is currently the 30th of September, which means that just tomorrow the league starts. So dive in head first, enjoy the football, use the players on the AFC. It's great to see both of the genders of football being pulled together into this hyper-competitive sport. It can only be good for everyone involved. I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment below what you think, who you might be supporting, whether you'll stick with a club that isn't in the WSL. It's all good by me. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you later.